Yeah.
Princess Peace, are you ready? Princess Peace, are you ready? Can you unmute your mic? I don't know why I'm still seeing Joyce screen still sharing. All right. So maybe where we can start is by asking the girls that were around yesterday to tell us one thing they learned from yesterday. Just let us know what is one thing you took away from last night's meeting.
Hello, good evening, princesses.
All right. So I'm ready. I'm looking at the chat room now. Let me hear something you took away. Neola said we learned about self-confidence. We also, Prince Anela also said we learned about setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is very important. Fantastic that we're special and we should be able to say no. That's what Princess Kachi is throwing up that she remembers from yesterday. So let's talk, all right? Always say no. Thank you so much, Princess Aviola, for sharing that. Alima said we learned about problem solving, very critical. Yeah, we have a challenge, we face it, we confront, we don't quit, we don't back down just because we want people to be happy. I learned that I have many special things in me, very many special things. Yes, 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 yes. All right. We are never to be people pleasers. Absolutely, Princess Esther. Absolutely. God is faithful. God created us for special stuff. We are valuable to God. We can't be people pleasers. The only person we seek to please is God. All right. So this is fantastic. This is fantastic. So I'm hoping that we're going to have a really smooth sail. I have my phone here logged in as well, so that whatever happens, I can just go there and we continue the conversation. Let's not be distracted by network and let's just look to have a good conversation. So my name is Irene Bangwell. I'm not the one sharing the slide. Auntie Joy, please save the day. Let's go to the next slide, please. This session is for 15 to 17-year-olds, and we always recommend that you turn on your camera, but we're aware that sometimes network can be tricky, but we like to see your face. We like to see your pretty face. Like I'm seeing Princess Eniola's face right now. And Eniola, the Eniola that didn't put stuff, didn't put Princess on her name. I'm seeing her pretty face. So today we're going to start watching a video. This video is just bonus. All right. All right, fantastic. This video is just a bonus. We'll watch the video, then we'll come back and introduce Miss Priest, where she will start the session for the day. So please remember to share the sound. There's no sound at the moment.
Hi, there's sound now.
Yes, there is.
The sound is still not sharing. Is it me?
I'm hearing it.
Can you hear the sound, Princess Peace?
Yes, ma.
Miss Peace, you have the floor.
Okay. Can you hear me? Hey, ma. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Evening, ma.
Can you hear me, ma?
I can hear you.
Okay. So aren't we watching the video?
Yes, we are through. I think you should wait a bit for Mrs. Irene because she's the one. Okay, I'm still sharing. Yes, the video is over.
Oh,
Princess Peace, you have the floor.
okay, ma. Are we talking about the video, ma?
Let's go to the next slide now. So take
Okay,
over,
ma.
introduce yourself, and let's go.
Okay, ma. Good evening, princesses. You're welcome to day 2 of our Body Smart camp. And I'm happy to see you all on the call. I believe we had a great time yesterday. And you know, today is going to be better because it keeps getting better, right? So we've shared some things we learned yesterday and they were all beautiful. So we'll go straight to what we have today. Okay, today we have 5 cases we are to consider, and we've grouped you all into different groups for these cases. So if your name as a princess, if your first name starts from the letter A to the letter E, you will be the one to consider this first case, case A. So, princesses, your name starts from A to E. I can see Princess Ella, Princess Eniola. If you know your name starts from letter A to letter E, then this case is for you. So can we go straight to the case? It's on the screen. So I want you to read the case and then you answer the question. So I want to hear your opinion after reading the case, after considering it. You have to tell me what you think. What should she have done? Okay, let me just read it out to us. It's on the screen. I have something obstructing my screen. Hello, Ma, can you hear me?
Sorry, are you not seeing the screen?
Yes, something was obstructing it. I can see it now.
All right.
Okay. I hope I'm audible to
Yes,
everyone.
very good.
Okay, thank you. So case A, I read it out. Princesses, I hope you're listening. Minister Osinachi is believed to have died from injuries sustained from being stomped on her chest. Her husband is believed to have repeatedly been violent to her, isolated her from her family, and was in charge of her money. She had 3 sons and 1 daughter. Now consider this story and tell me what you think. Why did she stay? What should she have done? So princesses whose first name starts with the letters A, B, C, D, and E. I want to see your responses on the chat. You can read the case again. You can read the story again. I want to see your responses on the chat. Why did she stay? What should she have done? Princess Ella, Princess Eniola, Princess Chioma, Princess Chiamaka, Princess Amaka, Princess Ayo. Can I see your responses? Can I see your responses? Are we good?
Hello, girls. We would like, okay, yes, the comments have started coming. Fantastic.
The network wasn't bad. She stayed because she didn't want the world to insult her. Really, wow. Was that as important as her life and her destiny? She should have gotten enough evidence and reporting. Probably because she was afraid or she felt she wanted to keep a good image to the public. Keeping a good image, is it as important as keeping your life and fulfilling your dreams? Why did she stay? Okay, most of the time, women involved in domestic violence stay because of her children. Wow. Do you think that the children would really want them dead or better apart and alive? She didn't because maybe her husband had treated her not to, threatened her not to leave. Because God forbids divorce. Wow, seriously. These are good ideas I'm seeing from all of you. You're doing very well. You're doing fantastic. Okay. Okay, you've been telling me why you think she stayed. Now you can also tell me what you think she should have done. What should she have done? What do you think would have been better than her life being lost? Maybe she stayed because she wanted her children to grow up with a father. We're talking about life and death. Okay, what should she have done? Now I want to hear from you. What do you think she should have done? I can give opportunity to one or two people who want to speak so that we'll hear you. I want it to be very interactive. So if you want to talk, you can raise your hand and I'll see you. So you can share with us. I want to hear from you. Why do you think she stayed and what do you think she should have done? Because she stayed to the point she lost her life and she died. And you know this story is true, right? If you've not heard about this person, it is a true life story. So it's not a fiction. Can I see your hand if you want to talk? If you want to share your opinion with us, what do you think she should have done? Okay, she would have sought justice. Yeah, she should have left the house with her children. We have a lot of, okay, maybe she's, okay. She should have reported, please. Okay, you could watch the video later, please. You could watch the video later. Let's talk about this case. Let's talk about what we're considering now. I don't know, she should have had more confidence or probably confided in someone so that he or she can help her out. Wow. Okay, we'll play the video again. Princess Irene has promised us we're going to play the video again. So you can trust that and just wait. She should have managed to escape with her kids. Wow, a lot of people have seen this comment again. She should have left the house with her children. She should have escaped with her kids. But I just want you to think about it. I just want you to imagine this. And really, because it's a true life story, I want you to really think about it critically. And these options you are giving, I hope they are really practicable. Yes. Because we have other cases to consider. Are we done with all we think she should have done? She should have gone to the court and claimed custody of her children. Okay. Okay. I want the princesses, you know, the princesses for this case, I want you to say something. So is everyone done? I'm not going to be saying so much because I want us to touch all the cases, and after which we can now talk about them because they actually are similar. So she should have gone to the court, Princess Chiamaka, and claimed custody of her children. Great. Wow. We've said a lot. We've given a lot of comments on this. Great. Anybody wants to talk? Anyone wants to share something? I would love someone from this group to say something. Any hands up? Nobody. Okay. Yes, about Mrs. Osinachi. I wanted to talk about it. Perhaps you heard when it happened. I know you should have had some things you said. Maybe you cried. But what did you think about her? What do you think if you were in a place to give her? Yes, anyone want to speak? Okay, I think we are done for this. We've received all your comments. We're going to come back to them. Okay, so we're going to be coming back to your comments. They are very important to us, and thank you. So we're going to the next slide. We'll consider the next. She should have decided her status and esteem by marital status. So you're talking about what she should have done before this happened, right? Great. So we'll go to the next slide. We'll consider the next case, and then the next group of princesses would give their comments. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello, Miss Joy. Can you help me with the
I
slide?
think Miss Joy may have
I
been
was not, I'm trying
kicked
to
out.
get
Give me
back
a sec
to my
to.
laptop.
Okay, I want the princesses to see the next slide so they could read on their own too. Okay, let's just give a few seconds.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that Princess Joy is not on.
Yeah, just a moment. I'm trying to get back on with my system.
Got kicked out, so the slides are off.
Okay, I can barely hear you, Ma. I think the network is.
Mrs. Irene, please give me allow me to be able to share my screen.
Okay, not a problem.
My other yes.
Please, princesses, just hold on. We know we've had a lot to do. We'll get the slides soon.
So, girls, Prince, can we continue the conversation about Prince Osinachi? We can just do 2-3 stories after that. So please go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. So back to what we're talking about. Yeah, I got the last comment from Princess Kachi. Okay, and then Princess Chiamaka, he said, you really felt for her. You felt really sad. Okay. Princess Eniola said, no one is perfect, but she shouldn't have settled for that. Do you think she really knew? Do you think she ignored some things that she saw before she went in to that marriage? I think you have an idea about that. That's what you're trying to say. She should have prevented that, right? I think I agree with you on that. So it means that he didn't just start beating her in a day. Okay, you can keep dropping your comments. We'll talk about them. Just keep dropping your comments, and I will be happy to see someone who wants to talk. You should share. If you want to say something about that case, tell me how you feel about it. Tell me what you think she should have done. You can raise your hand and we'll unmute you to talk, to speak. Please keep dropping your comments. Yes, no one is perfect, but I believe there are some things we could take and there are some things we should decide. You know, we learned about the power of choices and God gave us the gift of making choices. So I believe there are some things we can decide to take and decide not to take before we go on a journey like this. Do you agree with me? So like the last princess commented, or Princess Eniola rather, she shouldn't have settled for that. So it means she had maybe other options, or she should have waited for something better or decided to choose something better. Princess Priye, I think she should have gone to a relative or a friend with her children if the court was not responding okay. There are many things you think she should have done if the court was unresponsive. So we all agree that's a pathetic story, and we all agree that it is not, she didn't deserve that. It was brave of her to endure the torture, but she could have still looked for help. It was brave, but do you think that was brave, but really she lost her life? That we should be brave, does that mean that we should go and allow some boundaries to be broken, to be crossed? I don't think so. But just keep dropping your comments. We'll look at them. It was brave of her to endure it. Okay, that's the last one. I need someone to, that was bravery. Her bravery would have been her fight for freedom. Fight for freedom. Yes, yes, yes. That would have been her fight for freedom. I agree with you. She should have looked for a way to end that, because now it ended her. It ended her. Do you think she might have said something? Let me read your comments. Do you think she might have said something to anger him? No, we're not talking about beating of ones, though anger is not the right to hit. Yes, that's violence. We're not talking about
the next case in the comment section. Now, in this comment section, I still don't have the permission to share my screen. So can I paste the second case study in the comment section? So we can just look at it in the comment section.
Fine. That's fine. So we could make use of the time. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Irene, can I go ahead?
Is she still on the call?
Let me check. I don't know. I want to check.
I think she's out.
So just so we can save time.
Hello, princesses. Okay, I think we're back.
Hello, Mrs. Irene. All right.
Princess.
I'm asking if I can post the second case study in the comment section.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can now. Hello, Ma, can you hear us? Wow. Okay. Yes.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can, and we can see your
Yes,
screen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the slide,
Can
ma'am.
you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ma, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
We can hear you, ma.
We can hear you, ma'am.
She can't hear us.
Oh,
But we can read from her screen since it's already there.
yes. So I'll just go on.
Yes.
Is that okay, Miss Joy?
Yes, that's fine.
Can you
Okay, hello.
can you see my slides?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Ma, we can.
Yes, we can.
Princess, please. Okay, please
I
go
think her
ahead. So
network
you
is
have the
very
slides on now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right.
Okay, princesses. So we'll go to the next case that we're considering. So for those princesses whose first names start with letter F to letter J, this is for you. So let's read it. Her name was Itunu. She married Emmanuel 4 years ago. He began abusing her after their first child. She suddenly became disgusting to him, and he always looked for every reason to be violent. He started cheating on her, and the lady he was cheating on her with threatened her several times to leave the marriage. Oh, he continued abusing her, and the abuse increased each time she asked for the 2.7 million naira she loaned him. On March 10th, 2022, she died trying to have a baby. Now, reports have it that she had been attacked and beaten too much to the point that the baby died inside her. Why did she stay? What should she have done? So, princesses, I see your comments already. We can start. You know, these are pathetic stories, but I must remind you that they are not fictions. They are true life stories. Like you can see this story. This happened on March 10th, 2022. She died trying to have a baby. She was legally married to this person, but see how she ended her life. So the person she chose to be with now cost her life. What should she have done? Why did she stay? I need your comments, princesses. So let's go on. Let's go on. Yeah, you are exclaiming, what a life. But what should she have? Maybe she stayed because she wanted to get her 2.7 million back. Are you serious? Is that equivalent to her life? Maybe she stayed to get her money back. I think she stayed because she was trying to avoid embarrassment or shame. Avoiding embarrassment or shame. But now she's dead and the story is all over. So we've heard about the story. Do you think that's something good? Is she Christian? She should have reported him to her people. Okay. Reported him. She's living with this man, remember? Not her people. And so if she reported him, what do you think they should have done? Thank you, Princess Chiamaka. She should have reported him to her people. At least she's taking a step. Why did she stay? Princess Favor, I think she felt like, okay, she should have requested for a divorce letter from the court. Oh. Yes, she should have done that. I think she felt like she could not leave her husband for another woman to take from her. Wow. But I guess after her death, maybe a very short while, he was already with the other woman. Remember, he was already with the other woman who was threatening this Ituno to leave her husband. Oh, wow. But love is a decision, actually. Maybe she felt her voice did not matter. This is her life we're talking about. This is her life, and now she lost it. If her voice did not matter for her life, then where else would it matter? She lost her life. If she thought her voice did not matter, wow, that's really has lost both her life and to secure her life. Okay, more comments, please. And if you wish to speak, please just raise your hand. I'll have you speak. Princess Irene will unmute you. I want to hear at least one person say something from this case study. I want to hear someone say something. Okay. Oh, I see a long comment here. Due to old ideology, it is not right for a woman to leave her husband because when she does all the insults will fall on her, especially when she has a child. But the right thing she could have done was to be strong and leave the man. And if she couldn't leave, she could have reported him because being abusive is a crime. Good, I like that. Is a crime. She does all the insults will fall on her, especially when she has a child. But the right thing she could have done was to stay because the money that was with the man was probably the money she needed to start a new life with her children. Do we really think that anything is as important as life? Because that money came, I believe the money is still upon even with her absence in that house. What do you think? She should have gone back to her parents and stayed with them until she got back to her on her feet. Okay, because she has given birth and she doesn't want to marry someone else. Is that a very good reason to lose her life? Because progressive violence will always end up somewhere. And these two cases we've considered, they've ended in death. Okay, Princess Chiamaka, can you imagine the woman collected her husband? And it's still threatening. If it's me, you bring another person into my marriage, I will tell you, thanks for carrying my baggage. Wow. Wow. Okay, Princess Kachi. Maybe because of her children's emotional well-being of growing up without a father or without a stepfather. Well, now they have to grow up without a mother also. Okay, so we've had a lot of comments. I've gotten to know what you think about this. I've gotten to know what you think about this. Okay. So now I want us to go to the next slide. So we go to the next group of princesses. I want us to all pay attention to these stories that we're sharing. Okay. Yes, ma'am, the next slide.
I don't know, it's just going off. I want to add in case.
Hello, ma, can you hear you? Please, can you go to the next slide? Okay, she should have reported. She should have reported. Okay. So I want us to consider this next story. Hey, princesses, don't get tired. We are almost done. We'll go to the next part 2 of this session. Okay, let's see this story. A TikTok star with nearly 1 million online followers has been charged to court for shooting and killing his wife and a man she was with in San Diego. He had installed a listening device on his 5-year-old daughter's iPad. When he heard his wife and another man talking, he went to her apartment and shot them to death. Shot them to death. What should she have done? Why did she stay? What should she have done? Why did she stay?
Excuse me, I do not understand. It was the lady that was cheating on the man, and then he shot them to death. So are we like, is it the lady we are supposed to be considering here, ma?
Now we are also seeing that we just heard that he heard his wife talking with another man. That's what the story says, talking with another man. You see, for him to have installed a device, a listening device on his 5-year-old daughter's iPad, it means that he was extremely possessive, over possessive. And now he heard his wife talking with another man, and he went to her apartment and shot them to death. Was that really good enough?
So please try again. Because I have my earpiece on, please. I think
Sorry?
Okay, so really, yeah, the man doesn't have a fault though, because I would say, as like he has a 5-year-old daughter, right? So him installing the listening device on his 5-year-old daughter can be a way of him wanting to monitor what his daughter does online, not even thinking that, okay, so he doesn't even have the idea that his wife is going to cheat. So I don't really
leave
think
the fridge,
that's right.
don't know whether my own one is saying it.
Okay. So you think the man does not have a fault? Seriously?
The man has a fault because killing is a crime.
Thank you. Okay. I got what you said. The first person who commented, you think he doesn't have a fault? Yes, because yes, he installed a listening device on his daughter's iPad, but not. I don't think it's just to monitor what the daughter is watching and listening to. You know, his daughter would mostly always be with the mother. So don't you think he did that because of his wife? Because if he did not have something like that in his mind, why would he just stand up and shoot people dead for talking? What do you think about that? Okay, I feel like the husband should have been patient and more calm in approaching the situation.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it shows that
the wife is not living with her husband anymore, according to, in a way, not her fault, and
I think the question is false because it says why did she stay, but in the question it said that she's in San Diego with another man, so she didn't actually stay anywhere, and she couldn't have done anything because she wasn't expecting it.
okay. Why did she stay? She was in the marriage. Yes, she was in the marriage. She stayed with him. So he was still her husband. She was still his wife. So they were still together. As for the wife, she has a lady. I want to read that comment. As for the wife, she has a lady.
Oh.
Should have been careful about the way she should be with men because people can get jealous. Yes, people can get jealous, but don't you think there's a boundary
Why
to
are you
that?
guys in darkness?
Okay, I think we've really had a lot of comments on the 3 cases we've studied, and we've had a lot of things. I think we should now discuss on this that is common amongst the story. Hello, Ma, Princess Irene, are you on the call? Oh, I can't hear you clearly.
I couldn't hear anything on my laptop.
Oh, sorry, ma.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, ma. We've had a pretty interactive session, ma.
I've been joining with another device, not the laptop that I'm, sharing with. So I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
There's a handle written your foundation. That's me.
Okay, let me check.
All right. So can everyone hear me now? If you can hear me, please leave a comment in the chat. I can hear you. Because I can hear you, please, very clearly.
Okay, ma.
We can hear you clearly, ma.
Okay. All right. So I like the fact that the girls are flagging that there's a problem with this question, because the stories have it that there was a way their relationship was to get to the point that he could plant a listening device on her, device on her child's tablet. So it means that he was kind of possessive.
Yes.
Was kind of possessive, right? He was a possessive kind of guy. And the truth is that the conversation could have been anything. Even if it was something sexual, right? He didn't need to kill both of them.
Yes.
So that response is a bit tricky. So our question is, I think the question with all of the cases we're looking at is that we're looking at how women make decisions, whether it's to stay, when do we know when to be patient, when do we know what are the things we consider when, we're in a harmful situation and we feel like, oh, so think about this guy now, maybe if her classmates from school call her and they're guys, he's pretty triggered, he's upset. And if that happens to you today in school, there's a guy that likes you and another guy says hello to you, he likes you. I don't know if you're going somewhere. So a guy reacts in a particular way because you were saying hello to someone and your friend said that's a sign that he loves you. But that could also be a sign that this person has emotional regulation problems. It could be a thing, all right? So the question is, before they got to this point where he walked into a situation where she couldn't save herself, because all the three women we're looking at today, who, by the way, are real life stories, none of them saved themselves. They had been in situations where they had the opportunity to deliver themselves, but right now, they were now in situations where they couldn't save them. You get the idea? So that is not likely to be the first time he jumped into conclusion. I like what Halima said there. You would have just listened to her. So girls, before I analyze some of the reports you shared, let me tell you something that happened last week. A newspaper has it that a 20-year-old girl went missing last week. And, her body was found at her boyfriend's premises.
Okay.
He'd killed her. But the police, they were. So I'm going to mute everyone because some background noise are really interfering. Please, right? So what happened is, who is annotating or please stop drawing on the wall. Thank you. I'm going to clear all the. So what happened is he was found last week in her boyfriend's place. He was found in her boyfriend's place. People can't hear me anymore, or you hear me again?
Yes, I can hear you, ma.
You muted myself. Can you hear me again?
Not clearly, ma.
So what happened is, can you hear me now?
I think it's better now, ma.
I don't know what's happening with my network today, but I'll
It's
fix it
better now,
tonight.
ma.
Sorry
It's okay.
about that. Okay, so what happened is her boyfriend had gone to report to the police that she had gotten missing. Yes, last week. This happened last week, I think in Lagos or so. And the police asked him, when last did you talk to her? He said he spoke to her at 10 a.m. And this was 2 p.m. So the police was like, how are you looking for someone that you claim to have spoken to at 10 a.m.? It's not even up to 24 hours. What's the basis for saying that she's gotten missing? Long story cut short, a few days later, her body was found in his premises and he's the one that killed her. There are some other stories we wanted to look at, but we moved along, where a girl is killed and dismembered by her boyfriend. This is another story entirely, Chiamaka. This one happened last week here in Nigeria. All right. So what happened is I started asking myself that what is the main reason why women stay with men who are violent towards them, who could take their lives? And you know, girls, almost everything you guys shared here is what women, your mothers, would easily say. That's what women would easily say. That's what grown women say. Grown women say that God hates divorce. The truth is that if you're in a violent relationship or marriage, it doesn't always need to lead to divorce. There can be a separation so that if each partner can see a therapist, can start working on themselves in case being together is causing them problems. Children growing up in homes where there's violence, it also has trauma. Oh, Oluwakemi, you're talking to me. She said sometimes they feel that they can change their partner and all. And truth is, we can't. This connects back to our people-pleasing conversation. This connects us back to our people-pleasing conversation from yesterday. When we're in a relationship with people that are hostile, and we say, well, I don't want problems, so this is how he is. Or your friends will say, he really loves you, he just has a bad temper. We need to get to a place as we are growing up where even from today, you start to ask yourself, if there's no safety in a relationship, there cannot be love. That's the first part. I don't want to go ahead of myself, so I just want to go with the slide and I'll just be explaining. So looking at the slide, I want to start bringing back some of the points you raised and bring into the conversation. The truth is that until a girl finds herself, discovers her purpose, discovers who she is, how important she is, some problems in the world that she's passionate about contributing to solving, she would always think that relationships make life. She would always think that, I've heard women say, it's better to be in a relationship with someone that hits you than not to be in a relationship at all. Because even grown women think that not being in a relationship means they are not beautiful. So what that does is that many women would rather be with sick people than alone. So if you find yourself at this age, I'm sure you're not yet there, but there are pressures to date around you. Your classmates are normalizing that, dating is an everyday thing. Everybody does this thing. Miss Irene is just asking you to step back a bit and ask yourself, what is my motive for going into that relationship? What is my own motive? Until you find yourself, you would think relationship is all you want. And here's the bad part. When you think relationship is all you need or dating is all you need, you will not be able to pay attention to the values that a guy exudes. You won't be able to pay attention to who a man really is because all you're thinking about is just yourself. It's like people who want to get married. All right, so we say for some reason they might feel they will keep you safe. Which other reason will a person date? There are many reasons, my darling. One of the reasons that women date sick people is because women can't even notice their inconsistency. So let me give you an idea. What do I mean by inconsistency? The guy that killed his girlfriend and dismembered her last year did it because a ritualist told him to bring his girlfriend to make money. So you're sitting with a guy and he jokes about certain things and you laugh with him without asking yourself, what does this person believe about life? How does this person believe success is? Some people's mindsets are warped. Some men feel that, look, you have to be the head. You're the boss. When you talk, your girlfriend doesn't talk. And some girls will feel like, hey, man, I like strong men. I like firm guys. But you don't have a voice when you're around him. He imposes his will on you. everything has to be done his way, but you can't even notice that there is danger here. There's a statement Princess Peace made when she said progressive violence. It means that he doesn't wake up one day and bang your head on the wall. He slapped you. He poured water on you. And when he slapped you, your friends tell you, look, he bought you this wristwatch. He did you. I mean, this is just his weakness. Nobody is perfect. I want you to start normalizing the word love is safety. Love is safety. The reason we particularly do 15, 17 sessions is that in a year or two, you're going to be out of the house. You're going to go to university. You're going to live on your own. Some of you may relocate abroad. You may go somewhere far. If you don't relocate abroad, you may leave your city, go to a university elsewhere where you are now ready, where you feel that you're ready to date. So the session of tonight is for that moment. You have to know, number one, you don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to. That's number one. Number two, relationships is not what makes life beautiful. In fact, friendships with girls, where you girls hang out, do things for yourself, look out on each other, pray for each other, support each other. When you people are going through tough times, let's say one person is applying for a scholarship, everyone is praying follow up, or one person is looking for a job, one person is dealing with stuff, you're supporting each other, is far more valuable to you than relationship with the opposite sex, especially when Can you hear me now? You get the gist? Build formidable relationships where you can all check each other. So your girlfriend, you guys have grown from a long while, you know the values that matter to you. And one day she comes with a guy that drives a car that you all have a sense of how much it is. And he tells you he's a banker, but he drives a Lamborghini. You can look at her and say, his money doesn't add up. His income doesn't add up. What he does for a living doesn't add up. Because boys that are either ritualist or do, man, they used to say that love is blind, but your own love must wear glasses. Studies say when the people are in love, the brain tends to ignore the bad behaviors of the boy. But here is the thing, that's why we need the synergy of friends who we have built, who keep us accountable. Friends who remind us that no, this person is a no. We need circle of friendships. That's why the foundation is fill yourself with people you trust, you've come a long way with, who can literally shake your brain for you to hear. But this study that is also saying this would also let you know that when you're younger, it is worse. When you're younger, it is worse. When you're younger, you make a big deal of everything. Everything is important to you. The way he looks, everything that should not be important is important to you. So we should build friendships first. And those friendships should be based on strong values, respect, honor for God. So that when we start to date, our friends are there to tell us, something doesn't add up. I know you won't like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. You're all not excited to date. Everybody is matured, all right? So that you can pick the inconsistency in the person. What if the person is lying to you? Typically, someone tells you he works in the bank. Then he tells you he's happy to hang out with you on a Tuesday. And you say, you're not going to work out. He didn't feel like he's the bank manager or he's high profile. He doesn't need to go to work. Girl, he's lying. If he works in the bank, he will be in the bank. But if you're so excited and going away with only what a guy says, you're going to have issues. Body smart girls watch what people do more than what they say. They watch what people do more than what they say. If a boy speaks disrespectfully about your parents, there is a problem. If a boy says, why can't you? Your mom is boring, Joe. Why won't she?
is a red flag for you, because boys without those values can be a problem. You will be unable to step away from him if you think that relationship is everything. Many girls are stubborn because their sense of identity comes from a relationship. They feel they're not good enough unless they're in a relationship. So once you're thinking like that, you will not be able to break out of a wrong relationship. You think everything is about relationship. That's why yesterday we started out by saying, you were divinely designed. You're beautiful. You're intelligent. You have intellect. There's so much about you. You need to stop reducing everything to being with a boy. You need to stop reducing everything to that, because you're better than that. All right, let me look at what's coming out in the comment section. Okay, the class ends at 7:30. So you need to stop doing that. And also I noticed that if you find that every time people are talking about maybe relationship stuff and responsible decision making, you feel offended, you're like, I beg, leave us, let us be us. I just want you to think about this for a moment. What if what they're saying could save your life? What if? So when you think that your life is all about relationship, even when it's violent, you won't notice it. I learned this a long time ago. When you meet a guy, for example, one of the first things you need to actually be asking guys is watching in the guys is about how they treat the last girl they were with. Say he had a girlfriend and he calls her names, abuses her, and he said one day she did nonsense and he slapped her. He will say, but he can't try that with you. It's not true. That's his habit. It's habitual for him. He's going to do it to you in one way or the other. So at 15 to 17, we're having this conversation because you're going to leave home soon. You're going to feel like when I'm on my own, I'm going to do this. When I'm on my own, I'm going to do that. I just want you to know that it's rough out there, and it's rough and even more rough when girls don't find themselves. So when a girl thinks that relationship is everything also, she may not see anything wrong with him drinking and using drugs. Do you know that that guy that said he spoke to his girlfriend at 10 and went to report to the police that she had gotten missing at 2 might have been under the influence of drugs when he beat her to death? He may be under the influence of drugs and he hurt her. Some of them even give drugs to the girls. He may have been under some form of influence. So that's why the last sentence in this slide says, finding you is everything. So I want you to leave a comment and say, finding me is everything. Leave a comment in the chat. Finding who I am is everything. Finding who I am is everything. Eniola, it's all about common sense. But think about, let's say, a music minister like Osinachi. Are we saying she didn't have common sense? It's not really about common sense. Sometimes it's societal pressure. For instance, it is societal pressure that also tells you that God hates divorce, but God doesn't want you to be killed by your partner. So we need to step back and know God for ourselves and learn to, think through the things, the things that we hear. God hates divorce, really. God hates divorce, but he doesn't hate divorcees. He doesn't hate people who remove themselves from violent situations. Once somebody starts to hit someone, it's now a life or death situation. Someone says she wanted to maintain a good public image. I want to teach you people something. All right, let me see, I saw a comment that I want to, all right. So think about Osinachi. Was it really a good public image that all of us see her, we are blessed by her songs, meanwhile she goes home and they beat her? I don't know how I can tell you this, but you girls need to know something. If you're not happy on the inside, if you're not happy at home, it doesn't matter the appearance you have on social media. The truth is you're not happy. So don't worry about keeping appearance and making people feel good. If you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, if you're not safe, for example, I know some people when were in the university, they had a boyfriend that bought them a car, but he used to beat them blue, black. Beat. I mean, some of them, okay, there's someone I know that got married, had a boyfriend, he used to beat her, then he married her, and everybody will say, he's beating her, but he still shall married her now, he still shall married her. And I had to call them back and say, are you crazy? Why do you think everything is about him marrying her? He's not doing her a favor. Anybody that marries a woman sees a value in that woman. We saw in the creation story yesterday that God did all of this amazing stuff, and then he still said that the world is not complete without a woman. So women need to start carrying themselves like prized possession. Prized possession, meaning if the Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing, that means if somebody finds you, you are about to change his life. So you need to carry yourself like someone that, oh, Chamaka, thank you so much. You need to carry yourself like a prized possession. Like, if God adds me to your life is about to change. So I'm going to watch how you treat me because I bring blessings. And so if you don't treat me right, why should I let you have me? So some girls say, at least he's going to marry her. And I say, no, marrying her is not the point. He hits her, he's going to kill her. So whether he decides to marry her or not is inconsequential, it's irrelevant. It's like people that say, well, you can have sex as long as he's going to marry you. No, you've already dishonored God. It's not about marrying you. You've dishonored God. That's the most important thing. Of course, people are having sex and marrying each other. But the thing is, you've dishonored God, and that's a priority. That's a priority. God wants us to prioritize him, because when we follow him, we end up with safe, secure people. Let me tell you, girls, one of the most beautiful things you will ever find is a young man who honors God and honors you. You won't be saying, should we have sex? Should we not have sex? It's not in the permutation, because they have decided that they are going to honor God. Now, because they honor God, they will treat you right. Who is there? One of my daughters is just dealing with my office door. You get the idea? If they honor God, they're going to treat you right. But some girls say, well, sometimes boys who love God are born again, they are boring. Well, it looks like saying, I think Satan is exciting. So you have to choose what you want. Who do you feel safe with? Who is the one that you're hanging out and he says it's 6 p.m. We're not supposed to be out when it's dark? He will also go home. It means he's not hanging out with another person. He really honors God. And he will not be asking you to choose between him and God, because when a boy tells you to choose between, you should have sex with him, he's asking you to choose between him and God. And man, I would be afraid to choose a human being over the creator, you know? I know I'm making it look as if it's that easy, but when we have the right friendships, the formidable friendships, when we are mourning, like, you know, you can like a boy, but you know he was of you cried and cried when you finished, they bought you shawarma and ice cream, and you reminded yourself that breaking up is painful, but it was the right thing to do. Build the friendships first, build girlfriends first, build support system first. You get the idea? Build support system first. So everything I was saying was also to think about this. Some girls feel that their life isn't really worth much. And I've seen girls who say that, I say, well, I mean, I know girls who had sex with a boy because at that point they didn't feel good about themselves and they felt like that was the only person treating them okay. And so they started hanging out with him. One thing led to another, beating started. No matter the beating, they couldn't go. After a while, they said, he's already beating me. Which boy would like to date a girl that someone has been beating? They were already having sex. They would say, who would like to date a girl who has been having sex? So that guilt kept them there. And the first thing I want you to know that God does not deal in guilt. Even if you felt bad and you've been doing some really wrong stuff, and you're like, yes, 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 I have girls like that I'm working with, yes. I'm grateful that it's strange to you. It has to remain strange to you. And so some of the girls, even when they started considering sex, it was because they were abused. And so they didn't speak up, they didn't ask anyone, they didn't ask for help. And so before you know it, they are drowning in all of these bad thoughts. And so the first thing I want to tell you is, even if you made a mistake, God can forgive you and he can show you a way out. God's love is overwhelming. He sees everything that led you there, all right? He sees the negative thoughts you have about yourself, but he wants you to stop labeling yourself by your mistakes, stop labeling yourself about things you've done in the past. And I don't know if I said this enough yesterday, you're gorgeous. Stop thinking you're not beautiful, that if a guy asks you out, then he's helping you. No. So stop thinking about your past failures. When you keep thinking about your past failures, it makes you look down on yourself. It makes you accept harm as normal behavior. It makes you accept unthinkable things. Yes, it makes you accept unthinkable things. So your mistakes don't define you. You can start all over. You can start all over tonight. You can say, well, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've thought really bad stuff about myself. And you can start all over by saying the right things about yourself. I mean, we have this affirmation for girls of your age where you can have a 30-day affirmation all over your wall and just keep saying it to yourself to help you adjust how you think. You can learn from your mistakes. So you did something really off at school, no one and your parents don't know about it, but you know about it, and you're just dealing with the guilt. You can lay down and say, where did I miss it? I didn't have the right friends. I didn't think about this. I didn't consider that. I exposed myself to this, and you learn from it. Mistakes aren't the only reasons people look down on. There are also, yes, there are so many factors, of course. There are so many factors. That's why I've talked about how we look. I've talked about where we are coming from. If you were raised by a single parent, sometimes it can mess up your mind. For example, I had to deal with the fact that my father never accepted he was my dad, never came for me. Somebody here, Lua Kemi, was sharing her story yesterday. And I remember the first time I went to Lagos, office by office, I went with a name looking for a man. And I liked how Lua Kemi said, if God wants this person to be away, I want him to be away. So I struggled with a whole lot of, those negative thoughts about myself, made a lot of bad choices because I felt like, my dad rejected me. Who would want someone like that? I always carried it in my head. Who would want a girl who doesn't know who her dad is? Who would want someone? Is it proper to have a boyfriend at age 15? No, it's not proper. That's what I'm saying. It's not safe. It's not proper. The consequences are enormous. So we had a long conversation in the 12 to 14 class about sex and all of this. And I can share the link with you girls. You can watch it in your own time perspective. All right? I don't understand what he's saying by preparing live streaming. Wasn't he live streaming this whole time? All right, so what if someone it's not about being in the university, it's not location. You don't date by location. You date by readiness. You can be a graduate at 19 and it's still a bad idea. There's something that science says that, girls, I need to check whether our live stream is on. I don't know what's going on, but let me just check if it stopped streaming. So I think the last session we held in December, if there were any girls there, I really took time to talk about that, which was that there's something that science says happens in the brain of a girl, of humans, right? Some of your friends feel lost when they don't date. It's about orientation. It's also an escape. If a girl feels that she's not worthy, dating is the escape. Is when they date, they feel good about themselves. I really took time to talk about that. So our live streaming is working just fine, all right? So many girls, because they're not comfortable with themselves, so they want to attach to someone. So Antonia, is possible. But the question is, how long are you going to, Antonia asked the question, what if you're dating someone, but then you're not doing anything bad? The question is, how long, how do you think you're going to keep dating without doing anything bad? Emotions are intense. Emotions are really intense. One day you wouldn't know. Many people that started out having sex, doing a lot of things, didn't plan to. Boy, girl. So someone said, what about having a boyfriend at the age of 18 or 20? So let me tell you, there's something about readiness. There's something about readiness. This readiness is big, and this readiness in many cases has to do with physical development. So my principle about the age you should have a boyfriend is 22 and 21. Excuse me. And I'm going to tell you why. In the physical development of humans, there's a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. It is responsible for decision making. And so what happens is that when you want to make a decision, your brain sends you want to make a decision. There's a way your brain sends a message to the back of your brain to help you make a decision quickly where you're thinking about consequences. Up until you're 21, your brain doesn't send, there's a delay. Your brain doesn't send the message quick enough. So you would have finished making a decision before you realize that, what? I didn't think of that. I don't know anyone here who has ever done something. By the time they started showing you, did you do this? Did you do that? You know, say, oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. Someone says, I've seen someone who started dating at 14 and they still continue to date till 21 and they got married as virgins. Maybe do we want to know how they did it? Were they dating for that prolonged period of time? Are they celebrities? If they are celebrities, you don't have the whole story. Is it possible they broke up over a period of time, reconciled again? Do you get the idea? When you're older, you can take rest. When you're older, you can even see what is wrong with someone. All right, you can see what is wrong with someone clearly. Winifred asks, is it normal to have crushes? Perfectly normal. Crushes are part of puberty, it's part of development. If you're not having crushes, I'll say, let's check you out. But I think it's perfectly normal to have crushes. But the thing is, crushes don't always need to lead to relationships. Jamaka said they should give me a clap offering. Please give me a clap offering. So crushes are perfectly normal. They don't need to, but they don't need to lead to relationships. So let me tell you one of the things I always tell girls to do. When you start having a crush, start keeping a journal. Your crushes can tell you the things you like about people and also give you some feedback. So if you're a girl and every time you have a crush is the guy's swag you like, then that's feedback to you that you're not paying attention to their values. That's why we designed the crush journals for you guys. There are some questions it will ask you while you're going through a crush that will help grow how you think about stuff, you know? So you can have a crush. No, if you tell your crush that you like them, it puts you in an awkward situation of, you know, there's a need for, you know, the responsibility. I like him. I told him I like him. So now he needs to tell me he likes me back from their dating. We put ourselves in an awkward situation. So can you try feeling it, but not expressing it? Did you know one of the things I found out about being a Christian is that the entire work of Christ on the cross was to help us overcome our feelings so that we are not controlled by our feelings. If every time you got angry, you entered the road. So let me see something. Yes, we have a crushes journal, yeah? It's a product on our online, so you can tell the parents to get it for you. Let me see, somebody asked, I always had the feeling I needed a boyfriend to be happy because all of my friends seem to have one, but all of your friends are in situations that any of them could get into trouble at any time. So how about we redefine what happy means? We can redefine happiness for ourselves. Happiness could be going out when I want to go out, going to see the movie when I want to see the movie, hanging out with my friends. We need to define happiness for ourselves in such a way that boys don't need to feature in it. Girl happy is not supposed to always be with men in the picture, all right? So let me tell you, you know, I'm married. By August, I would have been married for 15 years. My first daughter is going to be 12 in 2 weeks. But this Saturday, I'm hanging out with my best friend that is a female, away from her husband and her children, and we're just going to have fun. We're just going to talk, gist, laugh, and be happy. See, girls, our happiness does not need to have boys in the picture. We can give ourselves grooves. I have one of my friends now, we used to be 3 of us. Every time she found a new restaurant in Abuja, she'll tell us, hey girls, we're hanging out here, I found a new restaurant, and we'll sit down, all 3 of us, have a good time, have a good laugh, and go home. And girls, I didn't start out now, I started out in uni days. So if I felt like going to an eatery, I grew up in a city called Calabar where most of the girls in Calabar felt that if you have to go to a restaurant, a guy has to take you there. But the girls in my sport knew, if a new restaurant is coming out and we want to go, we go. In fact, if boys are in the picture, it can be a problem for us. So we go, we work hard, we earn money, we go have fun, and we're good. And so when we meet boys, and the boy says, I'm going to take you out, I'm going to do this, you're like, I beg you, I can take myself out, something else. You can beat past how much they have and look at their character when you're not hoping that they're the ones that are bringing you happiness. So you need to, tonight, you need to define happy for yourself. What makes you happy? And you need to have like 10 things that make you happy outside of boys, all right? What if you have a crush and you tell the person? Well, that is one of the worst choices to make, yeah? It can be, they can take advantage of you, they can manipulate you, but here's the thing. So let's say there's a girl on this call who just before the term ended, she told the boy she had a crush on. So she goes back to school and he goes like, so you're back from school, where do we pick up from? I think she should look at him and say, I'm sure you know that crushes are just normal things. They don't mean anything. We're going through puberty. I have a crush on you. Just give it a few weeks, it will pass. You like me? A few weeks, it will pass. So we don't need to do anything. It's just part of what is happening to us right now. And before you know it, You're over with it. Girls should never, I have always, and would always have this feeling, girls should never tell boys they like them or have, feeling for them because of their self-pride. It makes the boys disrespect them. Yeah. By the way, when you're a teenager like this, what is special feeling to you is not special feeling to boys. So you feel that crush is for keeps. We could marry, we could do this. When boys have a crush, it's like, oh, another girl to kiss. They don't have the same fondness that you have. That's a key difference between male and female, which is why I believe that part of why God said, don't have sex until you marry, is because boys don't feel the same way. So I know this thing. When a girl likes a boy, she thinks that when I have sex with him, our love is going to go higher. But when a boy is having sex with a girl, his thinking is, oh, I've gotten this, I need to go to the next adventure. So they have sex, her love goes higher, his love goes lower, he goes for a next adventure, she's disappointed, she's depleted. And sometimes it's not really sex, it's kissing, he's touching her in a fond way. And before you know it, and if a boy has been with you in one dark corner, even if he didn't do anything serious, kissing is serious, but let's say he didn't do anything like maybe touching your private body area or something. He can go out there and say, hey, I've been having sex with her all the time. And people will believe it. And he will mess up with your name, even though he's telling a lie. So that's why I told the girls in 12 to 14 that we must all strive to be the girls that boys respect. They don't feel comfortable around you. They can't tap your butt and smile. What are they smiling about? All right. Someone says it depends on the boy. Not exactly. It doesn't depend on the boy. I think it's a natural feeling that when someone comes at you, most of the time, you take the person for granted. But especially because I know that when you tell someone you crush them, there's expectation of a relationship, it can put you in a very awkward situation. So the best place is stay away. Why are boys fast in having sex with a girl? So Divine says it's hormones. I say it's socialization. And what do I mean? There are two categories of boys. There are boys being raised to not want to have sex. There are boys being raised to restrain themselves. There are boys right now, there's a boot camp holding right now for boys, also teaching boys how to restrain themselves. So a boy who is not well trained, who hasn't heard those kind of stuff before, is being told by another group of people because there's no vacuum. You see that someone is telling them that go ahead, have fun, this is fun, this is what it means to be a man. Or someone is telling them restrain themselves. So every time you're interacting with a boy that is being exposed to either of this information. And so what they're being exposed to is what they eventually bring into any. Someone says because they are not getting pregnant. You guys need to watch the 12 to 14 video. We need to start wrapping up. So I have a debate activity, and this is where we are ending. Is it really love when a guy says he's drawn to your body? One boy sees you and says, man. So Princess Esther is not true. That psychological fact is a myth. That if you have, it's not, sweetheart. It's not, that psychological fact is not truth. It can never be truth. Nothing could be further than the truth from that. So let's have this debate. Now we're going to unmute ourselves. So you raise your hand and I give you permission to unmute yourself. Is it really love when a boy says he's drawn to your body? Maybe a boy says, every time I see you, something just does something to me. And there are girls who say, well, there's a way he feels about my body. I just want him to just rest. So your body is available. Hello, people, please. That message was for you. But let's have this debate. Is it really love when a boy says he's drawn to your body? So Evans, you go. And then after that, Princess Kemi. Evans, go. You have the floor.
Hello, everybody. I don't think that's love because
is it me? I can't hear you.
I'm unmuted.
Can everyone hear her?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I said I don't think that's love because being drawn to
Is it
somebody.
just me?
Should I continue?
Why can't I hear her, Holy Spirit? I can't hear her.
Oh,
All right, so you know something? I'm going to join with another device. Unmute again so that I can hear you. I'll mute here and listen on another device, but I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello?
just hold on a bit. She wants to use another device, okay?
I have figured
Okay.
it out. My volume has been on mute on the computer. So Divine, go. Evans, go.
Okay, so I said I don't think that's love because being drawn to somebody's body is just like I don't think that's love in any way because when you truly love somebody, you have to love their character, not their body shape or whatever attracts you in their body. For me, I think being in love with somebody has nothing to do with their body. It all has to do with their values and your values and for me I feel like how intelligent they are, how respectful they are and cool. So I don't think it has anything to do with their body. So I would say that is in no way love at all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So what Evans is saying is in no way that. And so what should draw someone should be character and all. But let's flip it, girls. The question was, is it really love when a guy says that to you? But what Evans is saying applies both ways. So you two should not love somebody because of how they look, appearance. It should be about their character, their culture, sense of respect and all. Princess Kemi, you have the floor.
What I wanted to say is that it's not actually.
Kemi, I think you muted yourself again, so unmute.
Yes, what I wanted to say is that it's not really love when a guy says he's drawn to your body because he's drawn to your body, not your person. He's not in love with your human person. He's just in love with the way your body structure is. What if eventually the relationship goes on and on and on, and then you get pregnant, your body changes, but it was in love with your body. Now the love will fade. So what are you left with? Nothing. So it's not really love.
It's not really love. Thank you so much, Kemi. Thank you so very much. So Kachi, your hands are up, so you have the floor.
When someone is drawn to your body, it means he does not love you. Someone that really loves you, the love will be unconditional. He wouldn't care of how you look. Instead, it's your personality and who you are deep down. Now, let's take the example of Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ was to be drawn to our bodies, then people that the world people consider to be ugly, Jesus wouldn't love them. What we humans would consider to be crippled, Jesus wouldn't love them. But Jesus loves everybody. So unconditional love includes us loving people who are crippled, people that are not able, that do not look good in the world's perspective. So if you love someone really, the way they look doesn't matter to you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kachi. That was some fire in there. That was some fire. That was some fire. Princess Marigold, your turn. I've come to Winifred and Favor.
So if a guy tells you that he loves you, he loves your body, does not really love you because he's basically telling you that he loves your body. So he doesn't really love you for who you are, what's in your heart or whatever. So doing like something like this, like if he sees another girl that has maybe a better figure than you and if likes the figure, he can leave you alone and go to the other girl because he does not really love you. You are just what
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marigold. So you remember when I was saying if somebody compliments you and the thing scatters your brain, we need to check, we need to work on it because physical compliment is usually with a motive. So when a guy says you look beautiful, I hope I'm not mixing up what I taught to 12, 14-year-olds, but yeah, if a guy says you look beautiful, you're supposed to be saying, I know, not thank you, I know, because many times those compliments have motives, all right? So when a guy says, look at that hips, see legs, look at that hips, you start to feel like you're the most beautiful girl in your class. Ding, ding. That wasn't a positive remark at all. All right, Princess Favor, you have the floor. Please unmute. Princess Favor, are you there? Princess Favor. Okay. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes?
Hello.
We
Good
can hear
evening,
you.
everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. For me, for me, this this saying if is drawn to your body, it's not really love. For me, I think it's lust. It's lust with your body, not love. It doesn't love you,
Yes.
just lust with your body.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's just lusting over your body. He's imagining what it would be like for him to be with you sexually. So he doesn't even value you. It's just your body. So it means that many girls need to reprogram their minds from when a guy compliments you, is the rest of the, it's the biggest thing in the world. So we need to learn how to compliment ourselves. I see 3 hands are still up. I'm coming to you, ladies. Rosie, you have the floor. Then after that, Princess Eniola and Princess Winifred. Let's go.
It means that they're living in poverty. They may struggle to, hello. They may not have enough food to
I think,
Princess Rosie, I can't hear you. I think the background is noisy.
They live near you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
They live in your neighborhood.
Okay.
The question is,
For me, it is lost because the person just wants your body, nothing else. It's just your body. The person doesn't care. The person doesn't care about your values, your interests. It's just your body. And he might probably see someone who is better off than you and choose the person. And
in Nigeria today, up to 20 million Nigerian children are out of school.
Hello, ma.
Yes, Rosie, thank you. One of your sisters, somebody in your house is listening to me, so I'm hearing myself in your house. That's cool. So Eniola, your turn. Princess Eniola. So I like the way Rosie put it. He said he doesn't desire you. Rosie also said when he sees someone better, actually, no one is better than you. But because he's on a wild goose chase, he's always looking for, okay, who has a bigger hip? Who has a slimmer leg? Who has a... So it's actually him that is doing that comparative analysis. There's no woman that is more beautiful than you. We are all different versions of beautiful. Princess Daniela, you have the floor. Princess Daniela, are you there? You're on mute, but you need to speak. So I'm seeing some really interesting comments in the thread. Someone said, me and my bestie are always like, we know because we have a mirror at home. Fantastic. You said when you love someone, we don't care about how they, but still, can you date someone ugly? No one is really ugly, my dear. No one is really ugly. Well, let's just stick with no one is really ugly because we're looking at their character. Are we safe with them? But also remember this. You would have to like someone physically. We're not saying when you're thinking about character, you close your eye to whether they're appealing to you. They have to have character and be physically appealing to you. Physical appeal is important, all right? But just because someone doesn't appeal to you physically doesn't mean they're ugly. Somebody said, do you ever think that the earth's definition of beauty is different somewhere else? In East Africa, women cut and put plates in their mouth because they think it's beautiful. That's the truth. And then sometimes, you know, the trends change, all right? That's why we must resist every beauty standard. When I was a child, when I was a teenager, one day I'm going to bring one of those, my pictures to one of these boot camp. I was so slim, I was like a piece of bone. And you know, girls, in those days, the beautiful standard was chubby. There was this thing, you can go and ask your mom, they used to call it Egovin. I used to buy Egovin to drink. They used to say Egovin makes people chubby. Like I was struggling to put on weight. So now I'm now grown, I finally put on weight and the world said that slim is beautiful. I'm like, you guys are crazy. So that's why we cannot take upon ourselves beauty standards that the media and people out there try to project at us. We have to consistently remind ourselves that I am gorgeous, I'm beautiful. I am so beautiful, it's breathtaking. It's so amazing to be me. I'm grateful that God put all of this work into me. You get the idea? So you have to appreciate that you're beautiful, all right? So somebody says, it depends on the definition of ugly. So trends change. Today's palazzos are cool. Tomorrow will be old fashioned and weird. I'm telling you. I have seen clothes that we used to make fun of, but they came into fashion. You couldn't wear Ankara and sneakers when I was younger. If someone made fun of me that I did it when I was younger, maybe I was ahead of the trend. But today it's such a norm to wear sneakers, even though I hear it's white sneakers with Ankara. Beauty is not about the face or hips, it is about your character. The Bible actually says physical body will change. Physical body will change, all right? Physical body will change, but the constant is your character. So there's a story we're going to look at today. And so here's what I wrote. I wrote that your physical body is just 1/5 of who you are. You are talent, your intellect, your beauty, your temperament, and you're a being with choice. So I want someone to like you because of the decisions that you make, choice. Somebody should like you because of how you think and solve problems. Somebody should like your talent. Somebody should like other things, not just beauty, because beauty is just 1/5 of who you are. There's a way a person who respects you will see your body and they won't even assume that they can touch you. So we all need to strive to be girls who are respected. I've already said that. So there's a story here I'm going to read. Let's read it together and we're going to find advice for this girl. So her name is Amanda. So our time is overshooting a little bit, but let's just do this story and wrap up today. Amanda was a 17-year-old girl with a bright future ahead of her. She had always been the type of person who would go out of her way to help others and make them feel happy. So when she met Tyler, a charming and good-looking guy, she was immediately drawn to him. At first, Tyler seemed like the perfect boyfriend. He was always there for Amanda. He was funny and attentive, and he always seemed genuinely interested in her life. But as their relationships progressed, Amanda started to notice some red flags. Tyler was possessive, always wanting to know where she was and who she was with. He would get angry when she spent time with her friends instead of him, and would even check her phone to see who she was talking to. Despite these warning signs, Amanda couldn't bring herself to end the relationship. She felt like she was in too deep and was convinced that Tyler truly cared about her. But things took a turn for the worse one night when Tyler showed up at her house drunk, aggressive. So imagine that you're Amanda, you're living on the university campus, and then this is happening. He started yelling at her, accusing her of cheating on him. And when she tried to calm him down, he pushed her hard against the wall. Amanda was shocked and terrified. This was not the person she thought she knew. Over the next few weeks, Tyler's behavior only got worse. He would get angry at her for the smallest things. And Amanda started to feel like she was walking on eggshells around him. She walking on eggshells, like, I hope I don't get it. I don't say something wrong. I don't want to annoy him. You know, that's what it means to walk on eggshells. She tried to talk to him about his behavior, but he would always twist her words and make her feel like she was the one causing the problems. One day, Amanda finally had enough. She tried to break up with Tyler, but he refused to let her go. He threatened her, saying that he would ruin her reputation if she left him and that he would make her life a living hell. Amanda felt trapped and alone. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't talk to her friends or family about what was happening because she was ashamed of how she had let things get this far. But then she thought of a tactic to use to make Tyler a better person, which was to pray for him and do things that would not make him yell at her or think she was cheating on him. So we have two questions. Can Amanda's prayer change Tyler? Let's start with Amanda's prayer before we come to this question. Let's answer in the thread. Can Amanda's prayer change Tyler? So we are going to vote. Let me look for where we are going to vote. I'm going to set a poll now. What did Kachi say that people are hailing her as wise girl? All right. I want us to do a poll. Girls, we're going to do a poll and that poll will tell us the truth. So I'm going to put up a poll. It's going to be out on your screen and everybody will vote. Can Amanda's prayer change Tyler? I don't know why the poll is not loading. So Kuku be voting. I will be counting on the prayer will help, but he needs to work. Faith without work is dead. Kashari says yes, it is possible, but he also needs therapy, probably. Winifred said, not really. So girls, you know, one of the things I want you to always take away from the Body Smart Girl Bootcamp is truth. So let me give you the truth breaker. Amanda's prayer cannot help him. Amanda does not have legitimacy in his life. Amanda is not his mother. Amanda is not his father. And as long as she's emotionally entangled, she can't even hear what God is saying. So she can pray for him from a distance. Tyler has insecurity issues that only he can take to God. And if Tyler doesn't see that he has issues, there is a problem. So Kachi said it's also attachment theory. Yes, there's that part, right? So girls, the long and short of this is that you're not in this world to fix anybody. If you're really concerned about a person's character, break up with them. Break up with them, go your way. And if you still feel the need to pray for them, pray for them. But always think about safety first. You have to remove yourself and be safe. Let me tell you about my own personal self. When I was 18 or so, 18, 19 or so, if not 17, my mom was getting married. My mom was getting married for the first time. And it looked as though my stepfather didn't want me around. So I left and went to, came back home and pretty much nearly started living with myself. So I got into a relationship with someone who used to beat me blue-black. But here was the thing. He was thoughtful. He bought me gifts on my birthday. He never cheated on me. But every time he lost a temper, he would beat me on anything. With any regards, he would beat. I used to pray for him to change. I felt that God put me in his life to help him. And I stayed there. Then when I got born again, can we stop the comments for now so you hear me out? And I'm missing out on the party in the chat room. When I got born again and started talking to God about him, one of the first things that God told me was that I need to get out of his life so that he can get into his life. Get out so that I can get into his life. And one of the things I've also learned is that, in fact, if you follow the Holy Spirit very closely, you'll actually be afraid of this life. What does it mean? What do I mean? The Bible says that the Holy Spirit is a gentleman. So that means he doesn't force people to change. That's a very tough thing. He just works in their heart, keeps working in their heart. Whether they respond to him or not is purely their problem. So now if the Holy Spirit, who is supposed to say, I can change anybody, is telling you that I don't argue with people, oh, I keep talking to them gently, I keep, trying to persuade them, I keep working on their heart for them to change, but he doesn't force them to change. If the Holy Spirit can say, I don't force people to change, who are you as a female? You can't change anybody. Some people will never change. Some people will change when they realize they have a problem and they will go looking for the solutions. And they are much better when they are in charge of their solution, not when their girlfriend is in charge. For instance, some girlfriends say, I booked for a therapy session for you, go, I'm checking, I'm following, blah, blah, blah. Did you go today? If you don't go, I'm angry with you. No. People get up and go for therapy when they want help, so that what they hear in therapy, they use it and take actions. So girls, even the Holy Spirit does not compel people to change. He has the power, but he doesn't. So it doesn't matter how much you pray, the person you're praying to does not compel people to change. Think about it very critically. He does not compel people to change. He does not compel people to change. So girls, it's time for us to unmute our mics so that we can take our affirmations. I don't know where our affirmation is, but it's not on this screen. I don't know where our affirmations is, but let's open to our journals, our workbook. Okay, I can see our workbook here. I think it's on page, let me see, let me confirm. Please remember to do this activity. Remind me tomorrow when I come, let me talk to you about this Discovering Me activity. I missed it yesterday, so we'll start there tomorrow and then we'll complete. All right, so let's see, page 12. Our affirmation is on page 12. I can actually share that. I can stop sharing this and start sharing that. Let me show our affirmation for girls who don't have, maybe you don't have the book. Am I in the right? I'm not using the system that has it, sorry. So let's look at page 12 on our screen. Let everybody just unmute so that we'll read it together and just remind ourselves what our deal from today's session is. All right, so let's go. Here we go. I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
No matter how I feel.
No matter how I feel.
No
No
matter
matter
what.
what the trends are.
No matter what the trends are.
No matter what is popular.
No matter what is
Popular.
No matter what.
No matter what.
I will honor my body.
I will
honor
honor my body.
I will never let anyone.
I will never let
Anyone
dishonor my body.
dishonor my body.
I carry myself with respect.
I carry
myself with respect
And honor.
and honor.
There is no violence in love.
There is no
There is no violence
violence
in love.
I give myself permission to.
I give myself
Permission to wait and to grow.
And to grow.
and to grow.
I honor myself by finding myself first.
I honor myself by finding
Myself by finding myself first.
I have the power of choice.
I have the
the power of choice.
I can choose to say no.
I can choose to say no
Say no
to anything
to anything
that dishonors my body.
anything
that dishonors my mind
and my body.
My mind and my body.
My mind and my body.
I have the power of choice.
I have the power of choice.
I have the
I
power
choose
of choice.
God's honor.
I
choose body honor.
Fantastic, girls. Thank you so much for your time. See you tomorrow, same time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
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 Thank you.